Good afternoon, church. It says in the Bible, Proverbs 7, "My son, follow your father's advice and store up my words within you. Practice what I've told you and live. Protect and value my teachings as you would your own eyes. Tie them like a string around your finger and write them on your heart forever. Say to wisdom, I love you like a sister. Tell understanding, you are my closest friend. Both of them will keep you from falling into adultery and from giving into the charms of your neighbor's wife." Bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, thank you today. Thank you for allowing me, Jared and Michelle, to preach your word. Please help us to convey the message properly. And please help us to calm our nerves and do what we need to do for you. Amen. So before I started writing the sermon, I was confused about what purity and getting trapped actually meant. The title of the sermon is "Trapped Ain't Dead." I asked one of my peers what he thought that being pure meant. He told me that being pure means to stay clean in all your ways and thoughts. I looked up on dictionary.com, and the definition for purity is the condition or quality of being pure, freedom from anything that contaminates. Since my friends came up with the term being trapped, I asked them what that meant. They told me that it means falling for temptations. In Proverbs 7, it actually gives the real definition of being trapped in this instance. It says to not be seduced into sin. Proverbs 7 is basically Solomon writing us a story of what he saw a young man from his window getting trapped. And also in the Bible, there have been multiple strong, godly men to get stuck in the trap. Some would include David, Samson, and even Solomon, the wisest man to ever live. It's kind of crazy how the wisest man to ever live still wasn't wise enough to not get fooled by women. Yesterday, I decided, with the help of Armani, to read an Ellen G. White book. It's called From Eternity Past. It told me that Solomon became a slave of passion and sacrificed his integrity to the same bewitching power as David. Okay, so basically, in Proverbs 7, Solomon, like I said before, is writing us a story. He sees a group of young men from his window, outside chilling, basically. And what happens is, when they begin to leave, he sees one doing something really foolish. He sees him walking by a certain woman's house. She comes out, the Bible describes her as being scantily dressed. So I think, when I think of the word scantily, I think, she comes out, short dress, everything showing, I guess. She comes out with the intent of seducing him. She called him over, and when she got to him, she kissed him. She then grabbed him and said brazenly, I've gone to the temple today and offered my sacrifice and had some lamb's meat left over. When I came home, I looked out the window and I saw you, the one I've been admiring. Now you're here beside me. Come in. I've been waiting for you. My sheets are colorful linens from Egypt, and there are other things you need to see. My bed is large and soft, perfumed and weighty. waiting. Come in and we can make love all night and let's enjoy ourselves. In verse 19 is basically where I think she starts to really trap him. She tells him that her husband is out of town and that he won't be back for a couple of months because he's trying to find a place to invest his money. When I guess they start to do whatever they did, her husband actually comes home the same day. He ended up killing him. Okay. After this, Solomon tells us, "Now, my son, listen to me and pay attention to what I'm telling you. Don't let such a woman play with your emotions, and turn your heart away from that which is good. Don't follow her as if she were someone special. She has seduced many men. You're not the only one. And don't think you'll get away without paying the price. Her house is like a highway. You'll find yourself traveling the road you'll wish you weren't on for at least death." Even though this story is mainly about him being trapped by a woman, you don't always have to get trapped by a woman. I asked my mom if she had ever been trapped, and she told me that she hasn't, and she hoped I had it, but anyway. Trapping doesn't always happen in this form. You can get trapped in anything, including money, jobs, or even staying with the wrong crowd. This reminds me of a story I once heard about a young man from Camden. His name was Daquan Eke. He had the perfect high school life. He had straight A's. He had all the girls. He had all the gear. He had all the J's you could think of. He had all the swag you could imagine. Every guy wanted to be him, and every girl wanted to be with him. But he saw one girl that he specifically wanted to be with. There was one day, it was the day of his championship game for basketball, and his team was down 67 to 69, and they only had 4 seconds to come back and win the game. Turns out he hit the game-winning shot. They won 70 to 69, and there was a party afterwards at his best friend's house. When he got to the house, he was, doing whatever they do at parties. I've never really been to one. He was dancing with the girl that he wanted, and she pretty much trapped him. Usually in the dorm, D-Pat always tells the juniors and seniors the same story when springtime comes around. He tells us about how his friend was chilling at the club, and he saw a young lady, and he went back to her hotel room. The next morning, he woke up, as I remember the story, and D-Pat told us that his friend saw on the window, on the mirror, it said, "Welcome to the club, I'm positive for HIV." Now, just like in the story I told you about Solomon and the story about Daquan Eke, everything was going good for him. He just won a championship game, he was at a party, he got the girl, but in the end, getting trapped means you could possibly get hurt. The main point of this sermon, what I'm trying to say, is in verse 25, where it says, when you turn your heart away from God, which is good, when you turn your heart away from that which is good, you will pay the price, for it leads to death. It's kind of like coming to school from Camden. You have to cross the Ben Franklin Bridge, and you have to pay a fine, or you have to pay a toll to get across the bridge. So this is kind of like how you have to, if you don't pay the fine, if you don't pay the toll, then you get fined. It's like $50 or something like that. When you don't, like God said, if you turn your heart away from Him, you have to pay the same fine, and you have to, well, not the same fine, but you die. The question now becomes, since we're not supposed to turn our heart away from which is good, we have to know what is good. One of my teachers told me that in Proverbs 8, which is the next chapter, it tells us that God is the source of all wisdom. God is the only person that can give us the wisdom and to knowledge, in the knowledge, let us know what's good, so that we won't turn our heart away from it. Okay. Yeah. Can you buy us a Josh breakfast? That was Father this day, for allowing me to be able to convey the message I was trying to convey. Please help the people here to understand what I was trying to say. Please give Jared and Michelle as they continue the conversation. And